up, duelists? Welcome back to Dress to Duel, where we take budget-friendly Yu-Gi-Oh decks and turn them into real contenders. Today, we're diving deep into a budget-branded deck profile that's not only affordable, but also packs some serious firepower. Whether you're a beginner looking to get started, or a seasoned duelist on a budget, this deck has you covered. Let's break down the decks, the combos, the strategy that will have you flexing on your opponents. To kick things off, we're running 3 copies of the Fallen of Albaz. This is the heart and soul of the deck and allows us to access most of our fusion monsters. This card helps break boards with its super poly-like effect when summoned, giving us access to fusion monsters using our opponent's monsters. Next, we've got Albion the Shrouded Dragon at 3 copies. This card is super versatile, acting as both an extender and a way to get branded spells and traps or the Fallen of Albaz from deck to graveyard. It thins out the deck, gives us draw power, and even acts as a pseudo Albaz when it's on the field or in the graveyard. Aluber, the Jester of Despia, is our main searcher, allowing us to fetch any branded spell or trap from your deck. It's an absolute must at 3 copies, as it makes your plays much more consistent and lets you pivot between different strategies based on the situation. Now, let's talk about Despian Tragedy. We're running just 1 copy, but this card is an absolute must-have for this deck's synergy. When Despian Tragedy is sent to the graveyard or banished, it lets you search for any Despia monster from your deck. This effect is incredibly useful when you're running cards like Branded Fusion or Branded Opening, giving you access to key monsters like Aluber. But that's not all. You could also banish Despian Tragedy as one of your branded spell or traps that's already in the graveyard, allowing you to reuse powerful cards like Branded in Red or Branded Fusion. This means Tragedy not only boosts your consistency, but also ensures that you have a long-term access to your most important plays. For 1 slot, Despian Tragedy provides immense value and flexibility, making it an irreplaceable part of the branded engine. For our Dragon contingent, we have the Bystials Sirener at 2 copies. This card not only functions as a body on the field, but also sends any branded spell or trap card from our deck to the graveyard. This synergizes perfectly with the rest of the deck, enabling quick fusion plays. The Bystial Lubellion. The 1 copy of Bystial Lubellion serves as our link to the Bystial engine, searching our branded spells and traps. It's a bit costly to have more than just 1, but even 1 copy pulls its weight. Plus, it's an easy recycle from the graveyard. Moving on, we've got Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous at 2 copies. This card is fantastic, allowing us to quick effect fusion summon during our opponent's turn. It's also easy to summon since we'll frequently have Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard. Tri-Brigade Mercourier serves as a hand trap negation. It's an excellent 1-of that not only protects our combos, but also offers synergy with our banished cards. Springden's Kit is a fantastic 1-off that offers incredible utility and consistency for the deck. When you control a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, you can special summon Kit from your hand for a free body on the field, which helps you extend your plays. More importantly, when it's summoned, it lets you add a branded spell or trap from your deck to your hand, giving you easy access to our key cards like Branded Fusion or Branded Opening. After that, you place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, allowing you to filter out any unnecessary cards and fine-tune your hand for your next move. This makes Kit an invaluable tool for keeping your combos flowing smoothly, even in a budget build. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is one of the most versatile and powerful hand traps in the game, and that's why we're running 3 copies in this build. It provides essential interruption by negating key searches, draws, and graveyard setups, making it extremely effective against almost every deck you'll face. Running 3 ensures that we'll have a solid chance of seeing it in our opening hand without over-committing. It's a great way to slow down your opponent's plays while you set up your own, making Ash Blossom a crucial defensive option that gives you a fighting chance against even the most competitive decks. For our last monster, we're taking in Dark Magician because of its synergy with Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. This one copy might seem a bit odd, but is essential for bringing our game-winning boss monster. It can also be fused with the Fallen of Albaz. Branded Fusion is undoubtedly the powerhouse spell card of this deck. We're only running one due to its recent limiting, but it stays a pivotal role in pulling off big plays. When you get to resolve this card, you're in for a great turn. Now, Branded in Red is a very useful card that not only returns one of your Fallen of Albaz or Despia monsters back to your hand from the graveyard, but it also allows you to banish them for a powerful fusion summon. It makes a perfect one-up in this deck. Functioning like an in-archetype Polymerization, Branded in White is another very useful fusion summoning card for this archetype. You can even banish monsters from your graveyard to fusion summon with this card while you're using a Fallen of Albaz as one of the materials. What's even better is that the card can be used for generic fusion summons in a pinch too. Branded Opening is an excellent card to make our already powerful Branded engine function even better. It can either get us to a Despia monster from our hand or our field, such as Aluber or the Jester Despia, or even more deck searching. Even if it leaves the field, Branded Opening provides good protection to our fusion monsters by banishing itself from the graveyard. I often send this card to the graveyard with Bystials Sirener's effect. We have Branded and High Spirits at 3. This card is an absolute MVP, letting you send a fusion monster from the extra deck to the graveyard that matches the type of monster in your hand, and adding another Albaz or a card that mentions it, like Cartesia. It also helps fuel the graveyard for fusions and thins the deck. Nadir Servant at 3 is perfect for this deck. It searches our extra deck, like for monsters like Tinkalid or Grengurinal, enabling multiple combos, plus it thins out our deck and prepares our graveyard for future plays. For simply revealing a fusion monster, you can summon one of its fusion materials from the deck, such as Fallen of Albaz or Blazing Cartesia. Although this does lock your extra deck into fusion monsters for the rest of the turn, none of that matters in this deck because of cards like Fusion Deployment. An excellent start of the turn card, Dark Ruler No More, is perfect for locking down any monster effects your opponent has, allowing you to pretty freely do all your combos with little care for what your opponent might do. This is a perfect card to run as it works on most decks. Branded Lost, an incredible one-up that can be searched out by Bystial Rebellion. Branded Lost protects our fusion monster from our fusion summons from being interrupted or interacted with by our opponent, while also giving you the ability to search for a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it when your fusion summons are successful. This is the perfect extender for the deck. What's better than using your own monsters for fusion summons? Using your opponent's monsters. Super Polymerization lets you use monsters on your field and your opponent's field for fusion summons. Most decks wouldn't be able to make this work, but Branded can. Using Albaz, you can get rid of an opponent's extra deck monster and get out your own, like Mirrorjade. Or maybe you can use one of their strong monsters to get out Titaniclad. The possibilities are really endless. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, the graveyard functions similarly to a second hand, so Called by the Grave is an excellent card to have and remove those problematic cards before they can even be used. When your opponent can use their own cards in your turn, triple tactic towns can be used to give yourself some advantage by either drawing 2 cards, taking control of an opponent's monster, or ripping a card from their hand. Stopping your opponent from summoning a monster is extremely powerful, and Branded Retribution does exactly that, while at the same time returning fusion monsters from either your field or your graveyard back into the extra deck if they use Fallen of Albaz as a material. Then, once this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it to get a branded spell or trap back, a good choice always being the powerful Branded Fusion. This powerful card is useful for stopping your opponent's plays before they can even get them started. Solemn Judgment is a powerful card that's nearly an Omni-Negate that has retained relevance ever since it was first released, making it the perfect tech option for this deck. Mirrorjade, the Iceblade Dragon, is our main boss monster. With 2 copies, you have more than enough fuel to manage multiple disruptions, and its non-targeting banish effect is an absolute game changer. Plus, it destroys your opponent's field when it leaves the field into their cards. Now, Albion the Branded Dragon and Ganguranol the Dust Dragon at 2 copies each ensures that we have consistent access to follow-up plays. Albion acts as a secondary Branded Fusion, while Ganguranol can set up Cartesia and other plays. Rinbrum the Striking Dragon is an excellent card to use if our opponent has powerful extra deck effects. This can lock them down temporarily and can give you even more advantage by banishing itself from the graveyard to return a Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard to your hand. Albalantanis is useful for if your opponent has their field covered with a bunch of weaker monsters. It can attack a number of times equal to the number of monsters used to summon it, and if it gets destroyed, you can search for a fusion spell, like Branded Fusion, during your end step. Lubellion the Searing Dragon is a perfect summon with Branded Fusion, because you can then use its effect to shuffle itself or monsters in the graveyard, including its fusion materials, to summon another fusion monster. Titanic Clad the Ash Dragon is exactly what you need if you need a strong monster to attack over your opponent's monsters. It gets stronger depending on the number of the levels of the monsters used to summon it, and then if it's in the graveyard during the end of your turn, you can add a Fallen of Albaz back from your deck to your hand. Albion the Sanctifier Dragon is a good boss monster to have to bring monsters back from the graveyard, but you have to summon a monster to your opponent's field. I'd recommend something they could probably not use, like another Tri-Brigade Courier or a Fallen of Albaz, so that you can beat over it easily. Guardian Chimera is a very powerful card to have. You can use Branded Fusion, Branded and White to summon it, and then it is a powerful monster with an effect that lets you destroy cards on your opponent's field. It's very useful to have in this deck. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is one of our key win conditions. It is a powerhouse that is difficult to deal with, and thanks to Branded and White, we can bring it out relatively easy. Don't forget that that Dark Magician we included earlier. This is where it shines. Finally, Predoplant Dragus Stapelia is a great super polymerization target and provides additional negates while acting as a solid body. It's perfect for locking down your opponent's plays, especially against other fusion or synchro decks. And there you have it. This budget branded deck packs a serious punch without breaking the bank. Whether you're taking on friends at locals or just looking for a fun and consistent deck to master, this build has everything you need to duel in style. If you enjoyed this video and want more deck profiles, combo tutorials, or budget-friendly Yu-Gi-Oh strategies, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is Dressed to Duel signing off. Stay stylish, duelists.